So, what does it mean to live and dream big? And really, you got to clarify your vision as a part of that process. We are super excited to have you with us here on the Charlotte Mitchell Radio Show, episode 754. And this is a part of our Black History Month spotlight. And I am telling you what, I am so excited to have our guest who's hanging out in the virtual green room. Tonya Pulliam is with us, owner of PICF Training Institute and founder of the Unique Resource Center and Sarah's Den. And you're going to get to hear all about it today on this episode, Live and Dream Big, clarifying your vision. But we're going to get started right after this quick intro. Don't you move. You're listening to and watching the Charlotte Mitchell Radio Show.
Whoa. Why y'all so happy?
You don't know? Charlotte Mitchell is on the radio.
It's time to get motivated, excited, and influenced. Why? It's the Charlotte Mitchell Radio Show, live from Richmond, Virginia. And now, here to motivate, excite, and influence you, Charlotte Mitchell.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Charlotte Mitchell Radio Show, broadcasting live from the capital city of Richmond, Virginia, but heard and seen all across the World Wide Web. Thank you so much for those that are checking us out live with our live streaming platforms across Facebook and on YouTube and on LinkedIn and on Instagram and a couple other places. Some of you might just say, you know what, Charlotte, I just hang out at charlotte.com. That's the easiest place. Listen, we love it that you love it over there. And certainly for those that are listening later to our podcast version, Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all of those. Thank you so much. And by the way, go ahead and subscribe to our channel so that we can send you notifications when we have an amazing episode, because you don't want to miss any of the episodes that we have. And so shout out over on YouTube. Hello, Roberto. Thank you for coming on in from New York City. We are glad to have you. Hello, Deborah. Good to see you. Listen, Kim, Joe, everybody is in the house. My mother is always going to be here holding it down. Hey there, Betty Jean. And so we're excited again that you are joining us here for another episode. Again, whether you're listening or watching live or you're watching or listening later, it doesn't even matter. We are just glad that you are picking up what we are putting down. And certainly if you're new to the show and new to this broadcast, comment wherever you are watching or listening. And we want to show you some love. Hey, Yolanda, coming on in on YouTube. Glad to see you. You're doing big and bad things. And so what I love about today's segment is that this guest, she is in Richmond, Virginia with me. You know, we interview people from all over really the United States, and we certainly outside of the United States. But it is always amazing to connect with people in your same area. And this young lady is legit. A business owner, an entrepreneur, a pioneer. I have been to her brick and mortar, years and years ago. We're going to get into it. But what I just love is that she is so impactful with the work that she's doing. So let me formally introduce her. Yes, because she's ready to come up and chat it up. And while you're watching and listening, go ahead and tag someone, share this episode out. Hey there, Ayana, thank you so much for coming on in. And so Tonya Pulliam is with us, and she is a graduate of Virginia Union University with a bachelor's degree in social work. She also completed her graduate studies at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, earning a master's degree in social work with advanced standing. With over 20 years of experience, Tonya has provided direct services to children and families, offered leadership and supervision to staff, and demonstrated outstanding volunteerism within the community. For the past 15 years, Tonya has operated her own consulting firm and launched a training institute to serve mental health professionals. As a certified mental health first aid instructor, she trained over 100 individuals in handling mental health crises and emergencies. And then certainly in 2021, she reignited her passion for serving the city of Richmond. Thank you so much. And certainly the most vulnerable of the population. And she opened the Unique Resource Center and Sarah's Den. And Sarah's Den is dedicated to serving those within the insecure housing and other needs in the Richmond area by providing essential clothing items through clothes giveaways. And I'm telling you what, we're excited that she is here, currently owner of PICF Training Institute, a program for young adults aging out of foster care and completing incarceration. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Black History Month right here. Put your hands together as we bring Tonya up to the stage. Hey, Tonya, welcome, welcome.
Hello, how are you?
Listen, doing well. The audience is applauding. Excited to have you here. And so I know already, just from what I know about you, as I was kind of reading the highlights, I know you were like, oh my goodness, is she gonna go through all of that? Is she gonna go? I already could tell you probably are like, she ain't gotta go through that. But you know what? I talked to someone that is an MC. She does MCing like as a business, and she will go to various corporations and introduce people. And what she noticed was that men never say, oh, don't read all my bio, or don't cut anything out. She's like, it's women, we tend to feel like you can skim, you can do that. And so anyway, I wanted to celebrate that. And certainly there's more over on our website. But welcome, and thank you so much for being here to talk about really living and dreaming big. And I would love to hear kind of how that has shaped your businesses, your ventures, and all of that.
All right, absolutely. Thank you again for having me. I was really excited and honored to be thought of again. I was on your show many, many years ago when we were just getting started, maybe around year 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So it's been about 10 years.
Yes.
So thank you for having me back, and just wanting to hear a little bit more about the journey. And I'm happy to share with your listeners as much as I am able to do. So thank you again.
You're welcome.
But yeah, living big and living and dreaming big is like a theme that I've kind of had rolling around in my head for a long time. I actually, when I came up with that, I was planning to write a book, and that was going to be the title of the book. I'm not finished with the book yet. I can't. It's like it's still like evolving, but it's definitely a theme for how I live every day, and not to give up on your dreams, and to keep dreaming even at 46 years old. Still
you
dreaming.
Good, girl. You look good.
Thank you. Keep dreaming. Yeah.
Keep dreaming. And what I love is that you dream, and then there's manifestation from your dream. A lot of people have dream. I'm going a little off script already, but a lot of people have dreams and aspirations and all of that, and it stays on a notepad, or it stays written on the back of a piece of mail. But what I'd love that I have seen is that your journey, you execute on those dreams.
Yeah.
That's
the hard part, right?
Yeah.
That's the hard part. I think too, that's step one, writing it down and putting on paper and carving it out. That is step one. But there's so much internal work that has to happen for it to actually become a manifestation. And one of the things that I truly believe, like, there are a lot of things I know how to do, but there are some God-given abilities that are placed inside of me that were there long before I even thought about, I want to do X, Y, or Z. These things have to be fed, and you have to nurture them from the inside out for them to actually become an execution.
Yeah.
So I think that's like a something that I've had to learn over time, because it's a lot of things I can do, but what am I gifted and called to do? And those are the things that actually become execution. And it's something I can't sleep at night. Like manifestation, it's here. It's coming out one way or the other. It's coming out.
It's coming out. Listen, and I hear your work coming out, your social work and mental health and really community service. I hear that all coming out. And so of all the things, like, how did you clarify really your vision, and where did your journey start? So certainly those that are coming on in and all that, hey, we'd like to see you. And I read a lot, but can you like chronologically, this is where it started and kind of how it evolved?
I will try. So, back 20 odd years ago, I've always kind of wanted to be in social work. I kind of knew that
Yeah.
a long time ago when I went to school. That was, a long time. But I actually picked up a notebook today, that was from 1999, where
Oh, wow.
I wrote down plain and clear, I do not want to work in social work and foster care.
Wait a minute. You wrote that down when?
1999.
Here we are. Here we
And
are.
here we are, and it's been something that I have done every single day, whether I got paid for it or not. It's something I've been involved in, but it's also part of that manifestation. It was
Yeah.
in me. This is going to happen, whether I was going to do it as a job or not. And I had to realize that and be okay with it. Like, it's like, oh, now I get it. Oh, this is what it was all for. So I had those dreams and those visions, but it became more real when I accepted the call. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, this
Yeah.
is what we're doing. But so I started out, and I was like, I was really in a position before I started my business 15 years ago. I was just doing this part time on the side, had a very lucrative job, was not interested in moving on. It was
Uh,
great. It was a cushy job. Okay.
listen.
And we got bought out overnight. It was a corporate.
Mhm.
They got bought out overnight. I got an email that said, you may or may not have a job. I don't know. My boss was gone. She knew she was being
Mhm.
cut. And it was one of those things like, I have to do something different now. So I was kind of forced into it. Fortunately, like I said, I had already written it down.
Yeah.
And now here's the execution. You're going to have to do something. You have to actually do something. But even then, I was planning to do consulting for 6 months. And then I'd go back and find me another cushy job and keep it moving, buy,
Uh-huh.
buy shoes with my bonus money and just worry about me.
Right. Right.
But that's not what happened. I'm 6 months
Mhm.
in, I was hiring staff, and it's like, oh,
Wow.
we've just evolved. And it just continues to be that way every time. I think this is about me.
Mhm.
I have this grand revelation, and it's usually slammed in my face that this is not about you. When
Mhm.
we first started serving the Richmond community and the homeless population, I literally had a homeless man walk up to me, and he couldn't speak. His mental health was had him in a place where he couldn't talk.
Mhm.
And I'm reading through his context clues. Oh, I looked down at his feet, and his toes are on the ground. I said,
Mm.
"You need shoes." And he was like, finally, somebody understands me.
Yeah.
And I went on Facebook and I said, I'm guessing he's a 9 or a 10. Can somebody help me? Any men out there? And before long, it just started to evolve. People were bringing me things that I hadn't even asked for so that we could help people that I hadn't even been introduced to.
Wow.
So it's like, that's that execution part. It's like, you
Yeah.
got to be willing to accept what is there for you. And like, this is not just about me.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how we have evolved over the years.
And
Mhm.
so, and I think yeah, evolution is such a great word because so the consulting, and then after the consulting, where did you see pivots or movement?
Oh my gosh, so many pivots, so many moves. Throughout the last 15 years, we had to change with the dynamics of our economy. We had to
Mhm.
change and shift with the needs of our community. So it was really, really important for us to stay focused and but stay relevant. We had to stay relevant. And
Yeah.
so when consulting looked different, it's like, oh, people aren't able to do these things anymore. They're not able to pay you what you want to get paid. We had to shift. So we had to change
Mhm.
our model, and shifting our model had to go with the needs of our community. And that's when I realized there was such a great need for youth aging out of foster care and becoming homeless. We were last in the nation for outcomes, Virginia, last in the nation for outcomes for youth coming out of foster care. They will become homeless within 6 months of aging out. So I was
Mm.
like, this is terrible. These are horrible outcomes.
Yeah.
And by then, I had already worked in the field and worked in foster care, had a foster daughter myself. So it was like very personal,
Yeah.
very personal. I said, we got to do something about this for the next young person. So
Mm.
that's when I wrote the program for independent living. And that program is now 8 years old. And during that, we had to shift. Thank you. Thank you. We had to shift, and I had to become an expert of that.
Mm.
And because I had to become that expert, I had to surround myself with people who were doing it and doing it better than me. and learned so much from that. And so that meant I had to pause on the things that I already thought I was an expert in.
Yeah.
Pause with that to take some time to learn, and be an active listener to what's happening around us so that we could remain relevant.
Listen, Tonya. Okay. So, and welcome to all those that are coming on in. You're checking out the Charlotte Mitchell Radio Show, broadcasting live from the capital city. Our topic here and our theme is live and dream big, clarifying your vision. And so you said so much, right in there. And I think what is powerful about what you just shared is that vision is one thing. However, even pivots and figuring out I've got to do something else is still a part of an overarching vision. Sometimes people just throw things out, like, okay, I'm not doing that. But did you see this all really tied in together?
I did now. I would say in the last 2 years, I've seen how all of these things, all of my experiences, even the ups and the downs, have made me so much more confident in my mission and my vision that it's like execution is like, oh, I know what I'm doing. But it took 15 years. It really did take 15 years because, people will come to you, especially when it's like, oh, you're an entrepreneur, oh, you have ideas, and they'll say, you should try this, or you should try this, and you should try this. And for a while I was doing that. And I looked around, I'm like, we got like 9 pots on the stove. We got before eyes on this is not gonna work.
Right.
And it was like, okay, I have to carve back. I have to shelter myself. I have to protect myself.
Yeah.
Because everybody that has an idea doesn't mean that's an idea for you.
Right.
And it doesn't mean something you're supposed to do. It might be something they're supposed to do, but they see you doing it, like, oh, you should do it. No, maybe you should be doing it. You
Right.
can work on that. I'm gonna stay focus on my 4 things right here.
How about that?
Yeah, and just developing those boundaries for that.
Wow. I want to capture this comment here. Thank you, Lisa Shaw, coming in from Florida. So much power and clarity in the shift.
Yeah.
So talk about that as we talk about clarifying. Like sometimes it comes as you go.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you see it before something. What kind of, and I love this comment. Thank you for that comment, Lisa.
Yeah, I think for me, it was the shift always seemed to happen in the dark, right?
Mm-hmm.
In those dark places at night. It's like, I feel like when you feel like you are truly by yourself, all alone, and it's like you have to move with the energy that's around you. I am a believer. And so for me, it was like in those dark times when I had to be by myself with me and God.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, you're going to have to do this because I can't. And if this is what you want me to do, then you're going to have to do it, God, because I believe that you're going to do it for me. And watching the shift and watching him move has just been amazing in my life. And even in the darkest of times when, there's been 2 times that I've almost closed the doors. Most people don't know that.
Catalyst. Yeah. Oh, listen. Hot off the press, breaking, we're exclusive. What was the catalyst, even if you don't want to share details? Yeah, no.
The first time, it was, again, in the dark. I needed this shift. We lost contracts. We were not prepared. It wasn't even because of us. It had nothing to do with us. It was with somebody else. We lost contracts. It's like, okay, well, you're going to have to, and people tell me this all the time, reinvent yourself, right? If you're going to stay relevant. And so from that happened probably around year 7. And I was like, oh my God, most businesses, they don't make it to year 7. What are you going to do? And even I tried to do something else. It was like, nope. Guys, like, nope, you just need to wait in the dark, wait for my instruction. And then boom, here comes this program need. I wrote the program. We got licensed in 90 days. That never happens. There are people who normally get licensed. It takes them 2 to 3 years, 90 days.
Wow.
90 days. So it was like in those dark places of like, oh God, whoo, here we go. You got this. I know you're on top of it.
Listen, so we have to interject here because you're a believer. I'm a believer. This is not per se a Christian show, but listen here, we believers, we cannot take out the element that he puts his super on our natural. Like that is a prime example. And there are people listening and watching that are experiencing something similar to that right now. Contracts being canceled, or things that were a flow. Now the flow has stopped.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah. And I think too, I've gotten to the place in my spiritual walk where I'm comfortable with saying that. And it's okay whether you believe or not, just understanding that there are things that are happening outside of you,
Yeah.
that are important, and you don't want to miss those moments and miss those engagements, because I mean, the encounters that I've had along the way, the people that I've met along the way, have really truly been able to push me in the right direction. And there have been people that I've met that were not pushing me in the right direction. I had
That
to
part.
learn, hey, I got to cut that off.
Right.
So there's a pruning season in there as well. Like, that's not going to stand. That's not going to go with you. And
Yeah.
that's okay. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And so it is even radical maybe for some people to feel like in this, what some people are feeling like right now in this political climate, in this whatever change, you're telling me to live and dream big. Like, is that even radical to think?
It is radical, but I think sometimes it's necessary, and it's sometimes the outside factors that is going to push you into your divine destiny. Because I honestly, this is no joke. 15 years ago, I was very content with my life the way it was, and working for somebody else and clocking in every day, doing what other people wanted me to do. I was super content. I had a great paycheck for it. And I went to bed every night on time, woke up with no problem, slept like a baby. Okay. But it was it was being pushed. I had to be pushed out to actually move toward my destiny. And then the impact that I'm seeing it making, it's like, wow, I would have never been able to do this if I had stayed stuck over there. And I'm not telling people, oh, go quit your job. No,
Right.
no.
Hear
You
us
gotta
clear.
be clear, because I truly had started 6 months prior to all that, and I had it on paper for 6 months. It was sitting there, and it probably would have stayed sitting there if I didn't have a little push. So yeah.
Oh my goodness. And so you just mentioned stuck. So there are people, I'm sure, that watching, listening, saying, okay, I feel like I'm in a stuck place.
Yeah.
As you're and this theme that we're talking about is like clarifying your vision. So that person that feels stuck on, I want to clarify vision and even purpose. 1 or 2 nuggets that you listen, this is reality TV.
Girl.
1 or 2 nuggets you
Yeah, things that I can share for people who are stuck. Don't be afraid of seeking help and reaching out of your inner circle of what you already know. Sometimes you got to branch out into places that are foreign to you, with people who may not think like you, they may not look like you. Don't be afraid, or it's a challenge to be able to do that. Always remain humble. I know that's like kind of cliche, but always remain humble, because the fact is we don't know everything. I wish I did, but I know what I know, and I don't know what I don't know. And so you got to go into some places that might be a little scary and get some critical feedback. Do the internal work. You have to do the internal work. Get yourself a coach. Get a coach.
That part.
I have two.
Yeah.
And over the years, I've had to use them for different things. Get you a therapist.
Yes. Yes.
Find somebody that you can talk to about the deep things that might be holding you back. Sometimes that's what it is. It's a you thing that's holding you back from moving forward.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Gosh, our time is rolling. I definitely want to talk about Sarah's Den and the Unique Resource Center. So
Yeah.
just give us the
Yes.
owners comment, like who and what is Sarah's Den, and then
Absolutely. So I was telling you back in the day, a long time ago, we started a clothes closet, and we were just giving things away, and it was not sustainable. It was not a good business model. Okay. So it closed. It closed in like 2012-ish.
Okay.
And so it was open for about 5 years. Well, when I readjusted myself and got myself positioned and did the shift, we were able to move into a new building, a new space downtown on Broad Street. And we thought we were just getting the building for our young adults, for our independent living apartment program. Well, on the front side of that was a storefront. And so we are about 8 blocks from where we first started, where you came to.
Yes.
We're up in the city now, near First and Broad.
Uh-huh.
It has a storefront. And I looked and I was like, what are we going to do with all this space, right? And I still know that there's a need for people in the community. There's homeless people right here at our doorstep. Again,
Wow.
same problem, different address.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, okay, God, I got it. You sent me back. You sent me back to a place to do the work. So my sister and I were like, okay, let's do this as a thrift store. Let's do a thrift store with the same premise as before, making it super affordable, which will change our business model. It's not just giveaways, but keep the component of the giveaways so that people who don't have money, they can get what they need. But then we have the store itself. So, and it became a nonprofit so people can send donations so that we can keep the lights on. And it's all volunteer run. So it's just a great model. So the name Sarah's Den, my sister and I came up with that because my grandmother, her name is Sarah Lee Pulliam, or was Sarah Lee Pulliam. She passed away in 2017. And as children, as kids, the safest place for us to be was in her den. My grandparents raised us, and we became pretty good adults. I think we turned out all right.
You turned out all right.
We turned out pretty good. So we were paying homage to her with the name Sarah's Den. And anybody who knew us as kids, you knew that was a safe place to go. We always had people over. There were people from church. There was always a hot meal. There was always something there that you could take away, and the nuggets of wisdom that she always shared with people who came to visit our home. So that's what we're trying to foster in Sarah's Den. And I can tell you the energy is there. I don't know how. Well, I do know how, but it's wild because from the first day that we opened the doors, there were people who had needs. They were coming and they were shopping. And then before long, they were talking. They were sharing their stories. They were sharing their backgrounds. And then we were sharing back with them just some hope, giving people hope. I can't tell you how many times I've had and sat there and cried with people and giving them a word of encouragement. You know, people who are going through illnesses. It's much broader than the homeless population than before. We still work with folk who don't have housing, but it's incredible, Charlotte. It's amazing to be able to just impact people in that way. So, you know, we have an emergency food pantry that's in the back. There are so many times that we sit down and say, you want a cup of coffee? We got soup in the back. We'll heat up you a cup of soup. Sit down, let's chat, let's talk. Let me give you some resources, get the clothes you need. And, you know, hopefully you can continue on for the next day. And that was carving out our vision, right? So I can't tackle the housing crisis in RVA by myself.
Right.
I can't tackle the food insecurities that are here. But what I can do is offer, when folks come across this threshold, give them some hope for the day and give them resources to help them through the next part of their journey. And that's what we do. And it's been quite impactful. It's amazing.
Girl, you are a powerhouse. If people are listening for Sarah's Den, how can they find out more? How can they connect online? How can they support?
Yes. We have both websites, sarahsden.com. We'll tell you all about where we are, when you can donate. You're dropping off your clothes, donations. You can also make financial contributions there as well. PICF Training Institute, that's thepicf.com. You can learn more about our young adults program. We do work with youth aging out of foster care, ages 17 to 21. But anytime you want to, I have to put this in. Every first Saturday, my church, the Bridge Church, comes down on the corner of First and Broad, and they serve a hot meal. So we're cooking out there on the street. They usually have a smoker of some sort. Whoever. And that's the thing. It's about whoever wants it. You can go get a meal if you want it. Anybody who's in need. But what you will walk away with is some love, some encouragement, and something good to eat. So it's really fun. It's fun.
My goodness. I need to have you. I need to fly you into my over to the West End. I need to fly you in as a conference speaker in November. I'm going to talk to you about that offline.
Would love to.
You have so much to share. And again, those that are in and kind of coming in and out, this is a part of Black History Month segment. But listen, we feature Black History all of the time.
Right.
And so I honor you. I honor all of the work that you've been doing that I can tangibly touch. Sometimes online, some things ain't what they seem they supposed to be.
Right.
But I know legitimately you are. Now, the Unique Resource Center, is that all kind of in the same area?
Yeah, so it's really the Unique Resource Center doing business as Sarah's Den. So the Resource Center is the nonprofit, and Sarah's Den is the name of the store, but we do other things with that. We're trying to start some support groups, some employment groups. We do a really great job of when folks are coming out of incarceration and they need clothes. I give them a $50 gift certificate to shop in the store, and $50 goes a long way in Sarah's Den. So, our average item is between $7 to $10. So, you can get a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff. Thank you, Tonya. So glad I tuned in tonight, praying God's continued blessing over all you both are doing. Thank you. Tonya is powerful. Absolutely. Ayana A. Smith. Our time, oh my God, our time is up. It went by fast. You have to do more of this. I don't know how much you do of this, but you got to do more.
And you're right. And that's a challenge for me for 2025. It's time to come out of the dark and share. You do a lot of work on the inside with yourself, but it's time to get out there and share with others.
Yeah, you got more of this confirmation. If somebody wants to work with you and say, hey, I want to work with her, I don't know if you offer coaching or consulting with one-on-one or any of that. How do they just reach out and just find out more?
Go right to the website, thepicf.com. The emails come straight to me. The phone number comes straight to me. You'll get me.
All right. Great. The last question, the goal of the show is to motivate, excite, and influence. And we want to know what continues to motivate Tonya.
Oh my goodness. Well, I became a parent about 3 years ago. My foster daughter had a child, and I am raising her, and that has been my motivation, to be honest. Like, everything that I do and every decision that I make now really does focus on what the future looks like for her, and I want to make sure that the decisions I make today are going to have a positive impact on her life in the future. So my legacy is now her legacy, so it really does drive me a little bit harder to make sure I do things the right way.
Well said. Thank you so much for being here and sharing some with us. Wow. This was completely amazing. Not that I didn't think that it wouldn't be, but amazing. So you heard me mention, I do have an event every November here in Richmond, Virginia, the Platform Builder Summit for women entrepreneurs, women leaders. I'm going to talk to Tonya. We're going to secure her because we need to hear her in person. But platformbuildersummit.com, go there, grab a ticket. We'll be doing early bird very soon. All right, it is a wrap, and I literally have to go because I have to be somewhere else. But thank you so much for being a part of our listening audience and our viewing audience today. We invite you to stop by our main website, charvette.com. You can see Tonya's full bio, links to all of her websites, links to all of the social media. Connect there, and that is a great place. If you're listening to the podcast, look down below in the show notes. If you're on YouTube, look down below in the show notes. Thank you, Roberto, for being here. Well done. Absolutely well done. All right, it's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen that are watching. We'll see you all later on the web. Bye.
Live from Richmond, Virginia, you've been listening to the Charvette Mitchell Radio Show. Get Charvette Mitchell every Tuesday at 6 p.m., interviewing all the stars you want to hear from. So until next week, stay motivated, excited, and influenced. This is the Charvette Mitchell Radio Show.